In this video, we're going to solve equations with brackets. Now, because we have a 5 that's outside the bracket with x plus 4 in it, it's actually 5 times that bracket. So we want 5 lots of the x, and we also want 5 lots of the 4. So for the first bit, 5 lots of x is actually 5x, and then 5 lots of the 4 is 20. But because it's 5 lots of positive 4, it's a positive 20. And on the other side, the 6 stays as it is. Now, to solve an equation, you have to get the x by itself. So we have to get rid of things around it. The first one we get rid of is the 20, and the opposite of plus 20 is minus 20. Whatever we do to one side, we do to the other. Now, the 5x was there first, so it stays there. But the plus 20 and the minus 20 disappears, and on the other side you're left with 6 minus 20, which is negative 14. Now on the left hand side we've got 5x, which is actually 5 times x. Because we want x by itself, the opposite of timesing by 5 is dividing by 5, but whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. 5 into 5 goes once, 5 into 5 goes once, so on the left hand side you're just left with 1x, or x, and minus 14 over 5. You can leave it like that, or if you wanted to, you can make it into a mixed numeral. Negative number divided by a positive number is negative. 5 into 14 is 2, with 4 left over, but we're dividing by 5, so it's still out of 5. So the answer to that equation is x equals minus 2 and 4/5. Similarly, with this question, we've got a 6 out the side of some brackets. So we want 6 lots of 5, and we want 6 lots of negative 3x. To begin with, 6 lots of 5, because that's really a times in there. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times negative 3x this time is negative 18x. And the 40, nothing happens to it. Now we're trying to get x by itself. It's got a minus 18 next to it, but the thing we're trying to get rid of is the 30, which is a plus 30. And the opposite of adding 30 is subtracting 30. Whatever we do to one side, we do to the other. The 30s disappear, and we're left with not just 18x, but negative 18x. And 40 minus 30 is 10. Now we want x by itself. At the moment, minus 18 has been times by the x. So the opposite of timesing by minus 18 is dividing by negative 18. Whatever you do to the one side, you do to the other. Then the negative 18s cancel, and all you're left with is x on one side and 10 over negative 18, but the negative can go anywhere as long as it's out the front somewhere. But we look at that and we go, oh, it's a fraction, but that fraction can be simplified because 2 goes into both the numerator and the denominator. So the negative is out the front. 2 into 10 is 5, and 2 into 18 is 9. So we've solved that equation now, where the answer of x equals minus 5/9 satisfies that equation. Okay, now this equation, even though it hasn't got brackets, it really does, even though they're not there, because all of the 5x plus 2 is divided by 3. So if we group those with brackets, it'll help us in the right direction. So the thing we're trying to get rid of first is the 3 underneath. The line means divide by 3. The opposite of dividing by 3 is timesing by 3. Whatever we do to one side, we do to the other. The 3's cancel, so we're left with 5x plus 2. On the right-hand side, we're left with 12. Now, I could have my brackets in there if I wanted to, but now they don't actually make any difference, so I'm not going to put them there. Then it becomes like a simple 2-step equation. We need to get rid of the plus 2 by minusing 2 from both sides. So we're left with 5x equals 10. That's really 5 times x divide both sides by 5, the 5's cancel, and we're left with x equals 10 on 5, but we know that 10 divided by 5 is 2. Once again, even though this equation doesn't have brackets, it really does, because all of the 2x minus 1 has to be divided by 3. So that's really where the brackets come in. Okay, what do we do first? The 2x minus 1 is grouped together and it's over the 3, but the 5 is out by itself. So we need to do the opposite of 5, which is subtracting 5. And we can do that to both sides. So we end up with 2x minus 1 all over 3 equals 2. Then the 2x minus 1 is still in brackets, it's divided by 3. The opposite of dividing by 3, timesing by 3. We do the same to the other side. The 3's cancel, leaving 1s that we don't really need to worry about. So we've got 2x minus 1 equals 6. Then adding 1 to both sides, so we get 2x equals 7. That's really 2 times x, so dividing both sides by 2, the 2's cancel, and we're left with x equals 7 over 2, or 2 into 7 goes 3 times with 1 remainder, and we're dividing by 2. So 7 over 2 is the solution to the above equation. Okay, another equation that's got no brackets, but really we've got all of this being divided by 5, so it really does have brackets. So we've got all this thing in brackets divided by 5, which is all grouped together, but there's an 8 out the front, so we have to get rid of that 8. It's actually a plus 8, and the opposite is subtracting 8. Whatever we do to one side, we do to the other. So be careful, make sure the minus is left there, so the left hand side, and we've got minus 7 on the other side. At the moment we've got to divide by 5. Opposite of dividing by 5 is timesing by 5. Do the same to the other side. The 5's cancel, and I'm left with negative outside of 2 plus 7x equals minus 35. Now there's two ways to go here. I could bring the minus sign in with the two terms in the brackets, or because both sides are negative, we could divide both sides by -1, and that will get rid of the negatives on both sides. So we're left with 2 plus 7x equals 35. Then taking 2 away from each side, I'm left with 7x equals 33. It's really 7 times x. Dividing by 7 from both sides to get the answer of x equals 33 on 7, or if we want to put it the other way, 7 into 33 goes 4, remainder 5, still out of 7, so 4 5/7. So they do get trickier, but the concept of everything we've learnt so far is still the same.